Hello, everyone. My name is Alec Geirig. Today I'm joined by Gavin Eller, Rylan Neal, and Rainey Betsina. A quick presentation overview. We'll begin by talking about H&M fast fashion and sustainability. We'll then go into sourcing, standards, and sustainability, and finally some key takeaways. Fast fashion, which H&M is a part of, is a concerning industry because it produces massive amounts of waste, pollution, and greenhouse gases. Also, it sacrifices quality of products and sustainability of operations. To combat this negative effect, H&M uses what's called the circular value chain, which is focused on designing products and packaging to enable customers to care for and later part with products in a sustainable way. Their goals, as stated here, include using 100% sustainable cotton, producing products with more sustainable and recycled resources, and having a climate positive business across its entire value chain. These programs, however, are not good enough to reach their goals. And so we're recommending a program called H&M&S, which includes 3 sections: sourcing, standards, and sustainability, which we will go into next. Our first section is called sourcing.
Our first initiative is to improve raw material sourcing because of the negative environmental impacts related to cotton. We recommend H&M invest in different opportunities in raw material sourcing. H&M recognizes people are demanding social, environmental, and economic change. H&M's 2020 goal is still achievable despite the impacts of COVID-19 on their business, as they finished 2019 with 97% sustainable cotton in their clothing. H&M sales dropped by 21% in the first 3 quarters of 2020. In response, they cut costs by 13%, thus allowing H&M the proper capital to achieve the remaining 3% needed to complete its goal. H&M's sustainable cotton is not actually sustainable. Organic cotton is the most sustainable as it uses the least amount of blue water and no agricultural chemicals, whereas cotton grown through the Better Cotton Initiative only promotes responsible use of water and chemicals, which is the majority of cotton H&M uses. Only so much can be done in practice to mitigate the water needs of cotton and minimize the impact on the environment. This is important because the World Economic Forum has identified water as one of the top 10 global risks. In sum, H&M is greenwashing with sustainable cotton. A true sustainable solution is hemp. Hemp grows quickly without the need for herbicides, pesticides, fertilizer, or irrigation, while also replenishing the soil conditions. It leaves the soil and groundwater in better condition than when it was originally planted, as it is a natural CO2 sink. Each ton of hemp cultivated takes 1.63 tons of CO2 out of our atmosphere. It rivals cotton and feel with added benefits of absorbing dye water, which can also have severe environmental complications. Hemp uses zero blue water, primarily relying on green and gray water. It uses half the territory compared to cotton per ton of finished textile. Hemp produces 3 times the amount of fiber compared to cotton from the same amount of land. It also grows 20 to 30% faster. The fabric itself is not susceptible to shrinkage or pilling while being highly durable. All these factors make hemp the superior fabric. So why is it not being used? Economies of scale. In fact, cotton makes it difficult to farm hemp on a mass level. In 2018, approximately 60 million tons of hemp fiber were produced compared to 30.3 million tons of cotton. The machinery needed to effectively turn harvested hemp into fabric is costly. Supply and demand, along with technological limitations, also play a factor in cost. There is bad stigma surrounding hemp, as it is closely associated with cannabis, but hemp lacks THC, which is responsible for the high. Finally, hemp fibers can be very labor intensive to produce. However, we see this as an opportunity for H&M suppliers to hire back workers that were previously laid off due to COVID layoffs. We recommend that H&M educates and incentivizes current suppliers to shift to hemp. H&M will lead the way in sustainability, prompting other companies to follow in switching to hemp, increasing demand and supply, eventually lowering H&M's costs. Due to H&M's large size and market power, it is possible to negotiate with H&M suppliers and find new ones if they do not comply. It is important to implement this initiative slowly, as it is unreasonable to expect 100% use of hemp in the first year. A marginal increase each year is the most cost-efficient way to implement this product and give H&M a chance to capitalize on shifting consumer preferences.
Next, we'll be talking about standards. Our first standard is operational, to consolidate, monitor, and enforce value chain standards pertaining to workers' rights, safety, and fair wages. H&M makes claims to be all about fair work, wages, and treatments throughout the supply chain, but as you'll see, such is not the case, which only adds to critics' claims of greenwashing. H&M has various standards for their business partners, but the code of conduct only shows the bare bones. The rest of the agreements are found by searching the website separately. H&M champions fair wages and workers' rights, but the reality is workers are mistreated and underpaid. Women working unpaid overtime, being abused, and working without breaks has become the new norm. So how does H&M go from looking like a leader in the fashion industry to one of the biggest brands involved in factory labor scandals? Lack of enforcement in partnership agreements and disorganization of partner standards. To combat the labor issues, H&M needs help holding itself and its partners accountable. Firstly, H&M needs to consolidate all partnership agreements. Then they need to monitor and finally enforce. So within this consolidated document, the Code of Ethics, the partners need to understand what they're agreeing to. H&M will also add COVID guidelines across the supply chain, ensuring job security for those who fall ill, sharing proper quarantine techniques, best practices, and safety measures. To monitor, an independent investigation team needs to be hired that will only report back to H&M confidentially. H&M will send a member of the sustainability team to watch an order take place from start to finish in one of the factories in the news firsthand. The auditor needs to keep track of the number of hours a job took to complete and track worker breaks and shifts. From then on, H&M can use that order as a baseline for fair working conditions and wages to know how long a job will take to complete and how much it will cost. If any factory underbids that, H&M will know they're cutting corners when it comes to worker rights. Fun fact, in order to pay a living wage to factory workers, H&M would only need to raise clothing prices by 55 cents, which is completely feasible. Last comes enforcement. Nike was in the same situation that H&M finds themselves in now, with incidents of workers being mistreated, and they held themselves accountable for minimum wage, hour limits, and worker abuse by auditing factories and providing managerial and operational guidelines for factory management. H&M must follow suit if they are to live up to their promises of fair and equal treatment. H&M can also play a bigger role in creating a safe workplace by holding worker councils to find out what truly takes place at the factory. And to be completely transparent, H&M can share collected data with analysts to better forecast demand to improve workflows and gain a sustainable competitive advantage. By implementing the new operational standards, H&M will enforce policies that are in place and hold factory managers accountable by demanding transparency in pay, working hours, and conditions.
We will now shift over to environmental standards, specifically those related to emissions. This section will focus on H&M's promise to deliver a climate positive value chain by 2040. Climate positive means that they plan to capture more carbon emissions than they produce. They're doing this, or attempting to, by partnering with the International Finance Corporation, Sustainable Air Freight Initiative, and Pathways Coalition. They've done great work so far. They reduced emissions by 83% since 2013, but the massive success in the early years when switching to energy efficient and green energy solutions didn't last. By 2016, you can see there's a big plateau effect. And the CEO himself has stated that they believe the floor is around 40 to 50,000 tons of carbon. That's as low as they can go. So if they're serious about achieving a climate positive value chain, they need to expand their efforts related to reducing carbon emissions towards carbon offsetting. Carbon offsetting is when they can partner with companies like TerraPass and Carbon Tanzania, which collect carbon through investing in reforestation, carbon sinks, and other ways to take in carbon. What's it going to cost? So $3.30 per metric ton of carbon. That's 60 million tons to become significantly climate positive, which brings out an annual cost of a little less than $200 million. But we don't want to take that off of net income because net income has already been hammered by COVID and mall shutdowns. So we suggest we do a small tax called the climate contribution on all of H&M sales to help fund the process. Our projections show that this tax could be as little as 10 cents on every $100 purchase. There are obviously big benefits, but one is marketability. It creates more eco-friendly brand exposure. Customers make a big difference with just a few cents, and they can exceed their 2040 goal by achieving climate positivity even earlier.
Our final section is sustainability. Our fourth initiative, Sustainable Staples, will develop a line of clothes built from H&M's most sustainable resources and that's built to outlast damaging fashion trends. H&M's current goal is for all products to be sustainably sourced by 2030. They are currently at 57%. H&M conscious pieces are created with at least 50% sustainably sourced materials, such as organic cotton and recycled polyester. They can do better because organic cotton is not sustainable. Fast fashion items are still made quickly without circularity in mind, which is counterintuitive to their sustainability goals. Better materials could be used in the process, like hemp, and their current conscious line is very small. H&M Basics will be rebranded to Sustainable Staples to incorporate new raw materials and promote the use of sustainable materials. These clothes have a longer life in our clothing rotation, and there are currently 49 sustainable products, and the addition of the 400 Basics products will give us a line that consumers will love. Expandable children's outerwear will be our newest addition to Sustainable Staples, and it's designed to grow with your child and trends, ranging from 9 months to 4 years. All these products are made from 100% recycled plastic and will help H&M achieve circularity in its value chain. Some of the key benefits of Sustainable Staples include products that won't go out of style, that are created sustainably, further reduce H&M's environmental impact, and help H&M reach its 2030 goal.
Our final initiative, Convenient Collection, is designed to build upon current garment collection processes and provide an intuitive, simple, and convenient way for customers to donate used garments from the comfort of their homes. The current garment collection program is an important part of H&M's circular vision, which is designed to decrease the negative impacts of the fast fashion industry. Their current process is facilitated by a company called ICO, which collects the garments and sorts them into the 3 categories of rewear, reuse, and recycle. So why is this process not good enough? H&M has a stated goal of collecting 25,000 tons annually by 2020. But if you look to the graph on the left, our team has predicted that in 2020, the company could have collected as low as 16,000 tons of garments based on the impact of the pandemic. Additionally, we predict that it could take the company as long as 4 to 5 years to return to their goal because of the pandemic effects and return to normalcy. So our proposal, Convenient Collection, is designed to boost their collection numbers and help them exceed their goal well into the future. How it works is simple. It's a 3-step process, including opting in at checkout, returning their packages for recycling, and receiving sweet rewards. The first step, opting in at checkout, is as simple as filling out your shipping information. It would involve something like opting in, clicking a simple box. Additionally, customers would provide information such as whether they want to have a small, medium, or large box, depending on how many garments they anticipate wanting to send us in the process. The second step, delivery and return, would also be simple. We would include a pre-postage paid stamp, which would have our return address on it. They would simply attach this to the outside of the box and send it back as any return package would. And finally, receiving sweet rewards includes things like stickers, magnets, and other benevolent feelings. And on the right, you can see some sample designs that our team has created. And this graph shows just the potential impact that a program like this could have for H&M, and you can see the wide increase in returns that a program like this could have. Some key benefits to keep in mind, impacting the 2030 goal by boosting garment collection and increasing those recycled materials, opportunity for hemp-based packaging in the long term, and easily funding it by increasing shipping rates for all customers by 10 to 15%.
These 5 initiatives, improving raw material sourcing, operational standards, environmental standards, sustainable staples, and convenient collection, in combination with H&M's stated goals, will propel H&M to the forefront of a new fast fashion industry where sustainability paves the way to a resilient and fair future. Thank you.